Hello guys, my name is JP and welcome back to my Minecraft world. Uh, Today I have a request from a viewer. Now, as I explained in a video sometime back now, wow, it was actually probably quite a while ago, I am transgendered, or transgender. It is a word, for some reason nobody likes it. I am a transgender person. I was born male and and have been for quite some time taking steps to become female. And somebody wanted to know my story, like when I first realized I was transgender and all that sort of stuff. So well, they actually wanted me to make a video of it. So this is going to be my video of it. I actually asked whether they wanted me to do like a face cam, like just me talking, or if they wanted the whole. Ooh, there's a zombie here. Or if they wanted me to actually do like a Minecraft video of it, and they said Minecraft, so this will be it. But anyways, I am one of the more, I suppose, like common. Oh, here's the zombie. The more common cases as far as transgender experiences seem to go. Like, I'm like the cliche case where. Okay, so for the most part, it started when I was, I want to say, either 4 or 5 years old. My mom would take me over to her friend's house, basically like to babysit me. Because my mom was like, would have been like 20 at the time. So she was still in, I think she had just started college. Or she was in college, I know that much. I'm trying to think of all the things. I'm trying to think of all the relevant things. But yes, my mom was in college. She used to drop me off at a friend's house of hers. I'll leave this open. Well, no, if I want to have animals, I gotta close it all. But yes, she used to drop me off at her friend's house to use as a babysitter. And her friend had a daughter about my age. And basically, we have to just come up with our own entertainment because this was back, uh, like right at the beginning of the 90s. Think like, where are you trying to go? Get back. It's trying to escape. I'm ready. Yeah, but this would have been super early 90s. Man, this would have either been 1990 or 1991. So not a lot to do there. It's like the most boring couple of years. Like everybody thinks the 90s was all great and everything. No, it was boring as hell for those first couple of years. But like I said, we had to make our own entertainment. And our own entertainment consisted of, what the hell was that? It's like a freaking train just came through. And that was in the game. That wasn't me. Well, this game is really distracting. I should have like just done a face cam. But yes, there's no sort of entertainment at that time period. So we had to just come up with anything we could think of. And one of the things we ended up coming up with was just dressing up as things, which obviously eventually led to me dressing up as a girl. And I don't know, it was all just kind of downhill. It was all just kind of downhill from there. Where it started out being every time we went over there, that's what I would do. And that's all I would start doing. Like, even during my own time at home. Like, she had given me some of her stuff she didn't like. So I'd have something to wear at home. And it continued on like that, just kind of in secret for the longest time. Like, just when it was just me and her. Like, whenever her mom would go watch TV and just leave us alone. Or whenever I was on my own at home and had nothing to do. And that's my earliest incidence of anything like that. And it didn't really come up again until I was probably like 10 years old. Where at that point I had physically matured in the wrong direction. Like, it's one of these inexplicable cases where I have no idea what happened. Like, even just being overweight doesn't explain it. Like, at all. Because if anybody has seen any of the videos I've done where I have a face cam up, I have surprisingly large breasts. I mean, considering I'm supposed to be genetically male. And it's not strictly because I'm overweight, because I'm not that overweight. I mean, there are people who are way heavier than me who do not have breasts. So it's not strictly that. While it is an attribute, while it is something that can be attributed to obviously being overweight to begin with, it is not the only cause. So something either in my genetic makeup or something I was exposed to in my environment, whether it be, you know how now they say there's estrogen, well, like a chemical estrogen in the plastics and stuff like that. Who knows? It could be anything, honestly, at that point in the freaking 90s. But my point is that at that point in my life, at about 10 years old, I started realizing this, like, hey, something's off about me. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, yeah, I look more like a girl than a guy, and which is true. Especially at that time. I mean, at 10 years old, I had probably B or C cup breasts easily. To the point where one of the days when we would be, because we actually had recess back then. I don't know if you kids have it these days, but there was a time when I had gone out for recess, and basically it's up, everybody's time to come in. So I run back to the building, and basically everywhere you go in that age frame in school, you gotta line up. You want to go inside, you gotta line up. You want to go outside, you gotta line up. You want to go to the cafeteria, you gotta line up. Lines everywhere. So I run to the line, and obviously there's already people who are here in front of me in the line. And I guess one of them noticed me running, because by the time I got back, one of the girls actually came up to me and said, "You should be wearing a bra. You need to wear a bra, because apparently while running I am that bouncy." And that was one of those moments where it kind of clicked in my head, hey, my body is off here. So that was when like I'd still been dressing up on and off on my own that whole time in between those years. But at this moment, that's when I realized that not only am I wearing the clothes, but it actually fits me perfectly. Like when I wore women's clothes, I had the necessary curves in the right places. So that would be major incidents number 2 at 10 years old. So right now we're like every 5 years I'm noticing something different that's leading up to my eventual, hey, this is the moment in my life where I've decided I want to be a woman. The next major incident would probably be just a couple years later after that. I was either 12 or 13. At this point, I would be in middle school, which for the most part, in American school systems, it goes for the first 5 years, 5 or 6 years of school, you're in elementary school. The next 3 years after that, you're in middle school or junior high. And the 4 years after that, you're in high school. So right now, I'm either in the first or second year of middle school. And at this point is when you start having a more high school like experience. Like you have different classes in different locations, and you have certain requirements you have to meet to pass things. One of which is not just physical education, but like an actual gym class. Like, let's see if I can get this pig in here. Screw you too, pig. Although I'm pretty sure I need another one of those. I'll go get the whatchamacallit. But yes, at this point, I have to take a physical education class, an actual gym class with like locker rooms and, hey, you've got to get dressed and this and that. You got to change, you got to shower, stuff like that. And at this point, my mind is like, oh my God, I am basically physically fairly a girl in a locker room with a bunch of guys, which is pretty much the worst nightmare of anybody going through this sort of thing. How did this horse get up here? Get down from there. This would be how. There we go. But yes, at this point, I'm physically aware that I have breasts, that I have feminine features, and now I have to go to a gym class and change in front of a bunch of guys, and it's not pleasant. But in particular, this experience that I'm wanting to mention is when we had to get, for some reason, apparently scoliosis is a big thing, where it's like a curvature, an unnatural curvature of the spine. It's not supposed to happen. Apparently, it warrants enough problem that they feel the need to inspect you all in school in a giant room all at once. Seems kind of ridiculous. I mean, like any doctor within the previous 15 years of your life probably would have noticed that already. So I don't know what the deal is. But yes, we have to basically go into a big room with everybody else, and several at a time. They'll have like 4 or 5 different people doing it at once. Basically, for the guys, it was, hey, take off your shirt. We need to look at your back. I actually don't know how it was for the girls because they had to separate it in the different gyms. I have breasts. I'm not taking off my shirt in front of 100 other guys. So every time they came to me, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And eventually, I was the only one left. I had just straight up avoided it the entire time, and there was nobody left to check but me. And so that was the moment. That was one of those moments, anyways, where, hey, I can't even do certain things in front of other people because, just like a girl, I have breasts, and that's if you hold shift, it moves you to it and then just shoots you off. So that's one of those things. I mean, that was a life-changing situation where, hey, I have breasts, but I can't, I don't get to function like a girl. I mean, I'm stuck in this situation where I have to be in front of other people very awkwardly with my most prominent feminine trait on display for the whole world to see. And it's probably one of the most uncomfortable experiences in the world, honestly. Let's get these ores. Do I have any more of those chests? Yes, I do. Make a chest for ores. But yes, that was my third experience there, where I realized I was not comfortable in my body in regards to it being a male body. Now, had I been in front of other girls and been known as a girl, I would have probably been perfectly fine with taking off my shirt in other girls. In fact, I still don't have a problem with that. I mean, for me, that's perfectly natural. It's not like I'm completely uncovered anyways. I'm normally wearing a bra, so it wouldn't be nothing to that situation. It would just be another half topless girl getting a medical inspection. Hmm. But yes, that was the third experience. The fourth experience was shortly after that, probably within the next 2 years, where I would still be in middle school, but it was the later years. Probably my third year of middle school, where I actually had, this is the only time I ever had a bully. Other than this, I was for the most part left alone in my life. It's really loud. Hmm. I don't know where it's coming from. Well, I want to say it's coming from this way. But anyways, third year of middle school. At this point, my entire life is backwards. Like, elementary school, I was probably like the perfect student, nothing but straight A's, well behaved, never caused any problems. At this point, I don't know what is wrong with me, but I live to cause problems, and I gave up on school. I don't know, at some point during this. But I'm sitting here in my math class, only kind of half paying attention. Let's grab some of this. And of course, my bully is in this class, not directly behind me, but somewhere in the general vicinity behind me, like to my right. And he asks one day, "Are you wearing an undershirt?" Like in a really weird way. Like obviously trying to make fun of me for something. And my brain does not, does not work. It's like, why is he asking me this? What is he trying to mess with me now? And my first thought is, oh my God, does he know that when I'm not here, I wear a bra in private? Like, does he see the bumps, like from the bra straps or something on my back? So that's another one of those points where it's my brain has like clicked where this male is not who I am. Like even when I'm being picked on, I feel like I'm being picked on for being a girl. It ends up the question was just it was a completely random question. I never did find out the reason for that, but that's not what it was. He was just asking a question. So it had nothing to do with anything. But it's just another one of those situations where it just kept adding up. Like my brain is slowly, very slowly coming to the conclusion that hey, just get it over with and be a woman like you're clearly trying to be. But again, that comes just slightly later, probably within the next year or so after that. Because at this point, I've obviously hit puberty and such, and oh, I gotta go sleep. And for me, that meant that I actually didn't gain more male attributes, at least not for some time. My male attributes didn't actually kick in until I was probably already like 21, 22. But yes, at that point, what feminine attributes I had decided to kick in into overdrive, really. Like, yes, I already had breasts, probably B cup, C cup, like I mentioned before. At this point, they decided to, like, hey, we're here. You should probably notice a little more. And at that point, by the time I was like 15, 16 at the latest, I definitely had the somewhere between C and D cup that I have now. Which obviously on any male, anyone trying to look even slightly male, looks completely absurd. So honestly, around that time is also when I first got internet and just started learning about the things in general that, hey, this isn't what you're doing, what's happening to you isn't normal. And the way you feel about what's happening, ooh, it's a big slime, isn't so unnormal that other people have this too. So it finally added up that it was like a textbook case of experiences that led up to me not conforming to the gender, my outward gender at birth up until late childhood, and more going with that of a female. So while the whole having breasts thing is most likely a coincidence, the transgender thing, the wanting to be female, is definitely both a conscious decision and a need. Man, to break this stupid thing. Because even now, we don't really know what causes people to become transgender. If there's a physiological need or if it's a mental need or what, but I feel like I had a combination. Like, I definitely did not feel right as a male, both mentally and physically. Like, it just straight up did not out. Now, as far as when I decided, it was, like I said, very shortly after getting into high school. At that point, I hit puberty and my breasts were way too big to hide. And just everything, it just drove me insane for the longest time. So at that point, I started doing my own thing. Because it would have been around high school that basically my family fell apart. Well, my family had fallen apart. My mom left when I was like 10, so it's completely, it can't really be attributed to what happened. Attributed? You know what I mean. It can't really be said that that's part of what happened because that was pretty much unrelated. But as far as when I decided that I want to be a woman and start taking steps to doing it, that was definitely in high school when basically my dad started flaking out left and right, and I went to go live with my grandmother. When that happened, I honestly had kind of free reign over anything I wanted to do. And at that point, I decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go with what's comfortable for me. I'm going to be a woman. So at that time, I went with the name. I originally went with the name Tabitha, and I wore what I could find. So, well, not just specifically what I could find. I wore what I felt wouldn't get me make fun of or noticed. So basically, I would wear the female version of male clothes, just regular t-shirts, regular jeans, and like a button-up shirt that was basically the only thing that looks funny about it is the buttons are on the wrong side. And that's how I did it. I mean, I've always had fairly long hair, so that was pretty normal for me. But other than that, not a whole lot changed for me. I mean, I don't really have real life friends, so it's not like I had people to do stuff with as a girl or anything like that. It's just, okay. To me now, I'm a girl, and that's what mattered. Like in my mind at that time, that was the only thing that mattered. So that would be when I got my start. It's obviously not very dramatic. There was no major woke up one day and realized I want to be a girl. It was just the sum of the parts. I mean, my whole life feeling wrong, and then finally deciding to make a change. And I pretty much stuck with that. I've gone through a couple different phases of that. I've gone through a couple different phases with it. I've changed my style. I went with a different name a couple of times, actually. Damn it, I can't get over this fence. He shoots me before I can get over. There we go. Oop, that's my food. It's been on the ground. 5-second rule. But yeah, about that time I started, there was a period of like 2 years there. I want to say through most of high school, I went by the name Tabitha. And then the period of time between when I went to high school and when I went to college, because I didn't go straight to college right away. I waited until I was like 21, 22. At that time, during that time, I went by the name Melanie. What the hell? This used to fit in here. Should probably get these out of here anyways. And this. But yes, I used to go by the name Melanie. And that was just one of those other phases in my life, pretty much. Because that didn't, well, that lasted longer than others, I suppose. It wasn't until I was, it wasn't until I moved out on my own, like, ooh, it's like 4 or 5 years ago now, where I moved out on my own. At this point, I just really wanted a new start on everything. That time, I did pick another new name for myself. Now I go by Jennifer. And that seems to be working out for me pretty well. So, it's a pretty unmemorable name. Like, you tell people my name is Jennifer, and there's nobody blinks about it, nobody looks twice, nobody thinks twice, nothing. Just another one of those things I've done to continue to go unnoticed. There's also, like I said, there was a couple of different periods where I changed my style and such too. Obviously, my first style as Tabitha was like a tomboy phase, I guess. Like you couldn't even tell it was supposed to be a girl, at least physically. Like, and obviously, if I'd like taken off my button-up shirt and like posed particular ways, yes, you'd see my curves and such, and like, hey, you look like a girl. But I never did that. So, and then as Melanie, it was more along the lines of overdoing it. Like I would wear short, poofy, like cheerleader looking skirts with knee-high boots and a purple blouse with like I want to say the like 3/4 sleeves, like down to my elbow sleeves, and like so much cleavage, like you couldn't ignore it. It's like way overdoing it. And that's how I was during that phase. Now it's more along the lines of like a classy, like, hey, not here I am, look at me, but like here I am, I like what I am, and if you like what you see, okay, thanks. And that's pretty much how it is now. Like like I said, I don't overdress, I don't underdress like I did before. I mean, most of the time I don't. When I'm at home, I'm kind of lazy about it, but Like if I'm going out and I know I still have issues where I don't always think I'm like passing and stuff. But if I go out and I know that I'll look perfectly fine as a girl or where I can go, nobody's gonna think about it. Like I still get those paranoid thoughts. Uh, I'll wear like just jeans that work with my curves and a kind of low cut t-shirt where like you get like a hint, not like full on here's my breasts for the world to see. But stuff like that. It's super simple clothes, but it works. Of course, it works better because I have breasts, but you get the idea. Like, probably the most show-offy thing I'll wear, definitely not this time of year since it's too damn cold, is as you saw on some of my streams and some of the videos I've done with Facecam, I'll wear a cami top, which is like a tank top with little spaghetti straps instead. And that's like the extent of that. It's not. Damn it! I did this in way too many places. I need to go get the lead and get this guy back inside. I should just keep it on me at this point. But yeah, that's the point where I am at. I'm, for the most part, comfortable. That comfort comes and goes with how I'm feeling, how I feel I look like. Like, I have a bit of OCD about it. Like, if I can't go 100%, like, if I don't feel I look 100% female, I really don't bother. Like I say when I'm lazy at home, when I say I'm lazy at home, it's not so much lazy as the OCD thing kicking in where if I can't look exactly how I want, then it's not worth my time to do it. Or when I do decide that I want to look like a girl for a day, I have to, it has to be absolutely perfect. Like like, I can't have any facial stubble. I can't have, my eyebrows have to be perfect. My legs have to be shaved. Everything. My makeup has to be perfect. That's why for me, sometimes it's easier just not to do it and just give a little bit of effort. Like I'll wear like a fuzzy pink sweater that I have. And kind of a gray, kind of looks like a cargo pant looking kind of skirt. Stuff like that. Like that's what I'll do when I'm not trying. Of course, my current work situation does not allow me to be female at work because it's unfortunate. But in the long run, it's less stressful on me to just pretend to be a guy for 5 hours a day than it is to be a girl but be completely stressed out to the point of not wanting to do anything at all, which is what was happening at the college for me. The whole college situation. I'll explain that someday, but anyways, for anybody here, specifically just for the explanation of when I wanted to be, when I decided I wanted to be a woman, the exact answer would be I've just always known. It's not something I woke up one day and decided I wanted to do. It's something I woke up one day and decided I always was, which I feel is the more, not real reason, but the more precise explanation as to how it is to feel to be transgender. It's not something you wake up with and be like, hey, okay, I'm going to be a woman today. No, it's, hey, I've always been a woman and I'm just now realizing this. So I hope for anybody who was for some reason curious, that answers the questions. If there's any follow-up at all, like if anybody wants to know anything else, just leave a comment and I'll probably just address it in the next video, honestly. I'd rather... It's not that I'm ignoring the fact that, yes, I am a transgender YouTuber here, which I guess there is a little bit of social responsibility to be a reasonable role model and provide information when it's requested of me. I'm not going to be a complete dick when it's just a simple request. I have no reason to treat anybody like that when they just want to know something. I heard a skeleton. You're not a skeleton. But anyways, if anybody wants to know anything else about it, just go ahead and let me know, and I'll get to it. But for now, this has definitely gone way too long. So that'll do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. My name is JP, or Jennifer, as you know now. I prefer Jenny. It's simpler. So like I said, my name is JP, and I will see you next time with more Minecraft, assuming my sheep does not escape. So long.